go. This is a bit of a long one. It's number 13. Quae dum esse in philosophica. So the question, which is in philosophy, quid nam, which means a question, what for it, what would be, in recepto mandate, in when you receive a mandate or an order, what's more rectius, what's better. Here we have a question with the nay. This altogether, to do this altogether, usually in a negative sense, so fully to do this, what is mandatum esse, what is mandated, or nunquam, sometimes even to disobey, to be contrary to it. If you spiro, if you're hoping that for him, ei, who mandated it, it would be more utilious. If you think it'd be better to disobey. And super these things, as we know, Gellius uses super instead of de in the ablative, concerning this question, an exposition, exposite, basically literally placing things out, of diverse sentiments, different opinions concerning this matter. And we can just italics that intro. Part 1. In the officis, in these duties of capiending, taking, sensiendis, thinking about it, and the judicata and your judgment, what they call, I guess in philosophy they call it a kathanon something in Greek, is accustomed to be asked, to be queried, and in the question, whether to the dato negotio, to the business which has been given, to be to you, what altogether should be done. And definitely, that's an adverb, if you ought to, debere, taking the infinitive, to do what is contra, what's against it. If, in this doing of this, eo facto, it might seem to be saying the res ventura, the outcome of the matter, would be more prosperous, comparative, and more utile to him who has mandated this business to you, negotium tibi. 2. It's an anceps question, a double-headed question, and into utrem partem, on either side, by a prudentibus virus, by a prudent or wise man, it has been arbitrated, it's been thought about. 3. For there are sunt, not a few of them, there are a few people who have this sentiment, this opinion, when a matter has been defixerated on the one side or the other. So if you've been given, it's fixed that you've got this order, and the re has been statuated, instituted, or declared semel once and for all, and has been deliberated by eo, of whose negotium business and pontificium it is. Now this word usually means relating to the pontifexes, but it can mean someone who has the power. So if it's been deliberated by someone who has this is their business and their power, by no means, nequaquam, that they think, these wise men, that faciendum, that's the drund looking thing, that should be done contra to dictum, contra to what's been said or ordered. Etiemc, even if repentinus, which means a sudden something, aliqui case, a sudden case of some reason or other, of some matter, rem is more convenient, suitable, or is able to be done better. What you've promised should be done, because lest if this hope is deceiving, this new sudden other alternative way you found, if this is deceptive, the culpa, the blame of this impatienta and the punishment, in depreculus subiunda esse. So the person who does this, they've promised it, if it doesn't turn out the way they want, the person who's subiundering this, the person who's going under this, all the blame and punishment will be upon them. For insubordination is one way they've interpreted that. Okay, so we'll have an early daily dictionary, even though it's a long one today. Pontificium can be pontifical books. Usually it's something belonging to a pontifex, but transferred here in Gellius, book 1.13.3, and a couple of other examples. The power or right to do anything. That's what it means here. Someone who has the power or right to do it. back to the plot. So 4. If the matter, forte, by chance, should vertis et melis, should turn out better, indeed, or even the gratia, the thanks to this, habenda, should be considered or given to the dis, to the gods. But Tama, nevertheless, an example seems to have been intromissum sent out before, by which well consulta concilia religion. Okay, so if some plan's been thought out and it's been done in this way, you can just ignore the religious function there. It seems it will be corrumpted, so that would mean corrupted the mandate. How'd they put that in English? Anyway, yeah, if it turns out well, it's thanks to God, but it seems like, what do we call this? You've corrupted your mandate, you've taken this irresponsibly or something. We'll just continue for now. Okay, so we got that bit. Corrupted the religion of mandates or the trust in orders. And 5, others exist amerant, they think this prior thing is just an inconvenience, an incommoda, it's uncomfortable, and it ought to be feared, metuandat. If the res, gesta, if the matter done, should turn out alita differently than what has been imperatum, than ordered, then pensatata, they should weigh up, or what is the hope of emoluments, which is advantage. So you should weigh up the matter if this is in a leviora and a minor matter. So if it's just a minor matter, you should think about what the advantage is. But however, autem, if the usefulness should turn out should be more graver and amplier in spe, in hope. So if there's something of a very grand and ample hope, which seems to be showing itself, as much as it's able to be a firm hope or whatever, then they censor it. You are able, posse, for the mandate to be done adversum differently, lest carried up this circumstance of a divine matter, this occasion for it should be omitted, which should be lost in the gerandering, in the carrying out of it. So this is what some other people think. If it's a minor matter, weigh it up, but if it's a very heavy outcome that you think it's going to be a benefit, then they think you should do it lest you lose the occasion. 6. Neque, neither should this example of not obeying, non-parending, be to be feared, temendum, crederant, they believed, if these rationales, these reasons, provided that they were of this, who is motor of these types, were not away. So if absent, so you might want to say. So if there are good reasons for doing this, you shouldn't fear this example of not obeying. Yep, still the same sort of thing. 7. Cum primus autem. So however or moreover, cum primus in the first place, perseverant, they were thinking that you should respician, you should consider or look into the ingenium, that's in the nature. They're very similar things. There's a lot of talent in the nature, Aulus, of him, to who, in this matter, gave these precepts, these instructions. Lest he be a ferocious man, durus, hard-headed, indomitus, unbending, inexorable, which is the types of these, the orders of Postumia and Manilia. This guy had his son killed for disobeying. So think of the nature of the person giving the orders before you go against them. 8. Namsi. For if a ratio, an accounting or thinking should be redundant, needs to be rendered of such to such someone giving such precepts or instructions, nothing faciendum est, nothing should be done. They monowerant, they advised alita differently than what was preceptum est, than what was instructed. 9. Instructius, comparative, and deliberatius, arbitramo. So we're thinking 4.8 would be more instructia and deliberate, more clear and deliberate. Theomatium, bit of an odd word for theorizing. In matters de mandatus, so he's using de instead of super here, who is made of this type of obsequenting, of following or obeying orders concerning the mandates of these types of following them. If the example also, quoque, of P. crassi mucarius, here's a bit of a description of him, he's a clari in an inclutai viri, so he's a bright and famous, world-renowned man. If we place these forward here as an example. Apozoeramos. Okay, so 10, we're looking at this guy's example. He, Crassus, by Sempronius Ocellus and Plerus Quialis, very many other scriptoribus, writers of Roman history, Historia Romana, Traductor is handed down by them. This is what they say, taking the Habuisi. He had 5 of rerum bonum, of the best things, best qualities, the greatest and the special ones. So he had very good greatnesses, qualities, which were quod esset. He was ditissimus, he was very rich, he was nobilimus, he was born from a noble family, he was eloquentissimus, another superlative, he was very eloquent. That juris consult, he was consulted in matters of the law as if he was a lawyer or wise, and that he was pontifex maximus. Pontifex word again, this is the high priest. 11, is cum, when he, in his consultu, in his consulship, he obtained the province Asia, and, taking the infinitive, he was preparing to circumsedere, to encircle, and to oppugnare, to besiege, a place called Lucas. Opus esset, it was needed a firm and procura trabe. Procura usually means tall, so it would be a firm, strong, and long trabe, which is a beam or a block of wood, for which he could faceret into an ariatam, which he could make into a battering ram, by which the muros, the walls of this town or city, he could quadrate, he could shake or knock down. So he scripturated, he wrote to the magistrate Mylatsenium, I guess it's a place, who were sociorums and amicorums of the populi Romani, who were friends and allies of the Roman people, so that from the 2 great masts of ships which apud them he had seen, so that he could use the major one, the bigger one, he curated that they would send it. So he took cares, he wrote that they should send it to him so he could make a battering ram out of it. 12, tum magistratus, magistrates, just some official office, having compertoed something, there's a missing Greek word there, so it must have been the request. He's discovered the request for quem obrum, why he had desired this mast, not as he had been ordered, the major one, the bigger one, but which he thought magus idonium, which he thought more suitable. With these idoniums and verbs, they take magus in their comparative. So, and more aptia, more apt to the situation for faciending a battering ram, and which would be facilio, more easily in the portating, in the carrying, he thought these things to be. So he missed it, the minor one, he sent the smaller one. 13. Crassus, the guy who gave the orders, he used him to be vicarate. He ordered him to be summoned or called, and when he was being interrogated, why he had not misset, why he had not sent what he had been usurated, what he had been ordered to, with all the causes and reasons which he dictated about, that's a frequentive, so it means he repeatedly was saying his causes and reasons, he'd spurn them. It looks like he had him ordered that his vestments be dragged off, he'd be dragged off his clothes, and multum, very many, vergus, he's a rods, he fell. So he must have been beaten with rods because he was ratusing. He was thinking that the officium, the duty, had been corrupted and dissolved or not obeyed. All these duties of the line of command had been corrupted. So if anyone, si quis, was to do this, that quod facere justus, they had not obsequioed as they ought to have. They did not follow as ordered. If they in a response, if they should respond with a concilio not desiderated, with some plan or reasoning which was not desired, if they respond, they were not following as they ought to, what they were ordered to, then he was thinking again, so it goes back to all these orders, this duty of being orders, the line of command was corrupted and dissolved or disrupted. And so that ends that little letter.